Well, there it is. Hi guys, this is Witty, and this is a brief movie review of the film Aquaman. Went to go see this the other day, and it's a good ride, to be quite frank with you. You'll be swimming for more. That doesn't work, but yeah. I was trying to think of some sort of pun there. Didn't work. So I'll give you a quick synopsis of Aquaman. Once home to the most advanced civilization on Earth, the city of Atlantis is now an underwater kingdom ruled by the power-hungry King Orm. With a vast army at his disposal, Orm plans to conquer the remaining oceanic people and then the surface world. Standing in his way is Aquaman, Orm's half-human, half-Atlantean brother, and true heir to the throne. With help from Royal Councillor Folkel, Aquaman must retrieve the legendary Trident of Atlan and embrace his destiny as protector of the deep. So, is this film worth watching? Yes. Yes, it is. That's the first thing I will get off my chest. I think this is a good, fun film. It's not to be taken too seriously because the plot isn't exactly the most developed, nor are all of the characters. I will say that the bad guys are very two-dimensional. Our main lead is charismatic enough to warm us to follow him on his journey. The romantic side is passable and works. So overall, there is encouragement and an enjoyable feel when watching. I feel like I got more out of the grand scope of what the film was trying to portray or demonstrate visually. So CGI, if you're into that, this is a big one for you. I'm not exactly massively into CGI, but they did a lot of it, and they did a lot of it well. So you will get a lot out of huge battles that occur. It had these sci-fi elements of exploration, so I was almost getting this kind of Blade Runner vibe when they were going through some dark caverns and very picturesque and atmospheric. It also had an Indiana Jones vibe, so that sense of adventure, coming across a puzzle, this ancient ruin, stuff like that. I won't try to spoil too much here. This is mostly a spoiler-free scenario. It's just me giving my initial thoughts, and hopefully you make of them what you will. I'm not sponsored in any way, so don't feel obliged to do anything with this information. It's just simply me talking about my feelings from watching the film. So, I really had a good time with it, though. I thought this was a good step in the right direction for DC. I know they struggled a lot, and Wonder Woman has been pretty much their only successful film. I actually haven't seen the Justice League, so I think this is my first true introduction to Aquaman, apart from the Batman versus Superman, where you got like a very brief moment of one clip of showing him looking angry. So this was a good introduction. So if the other films gave you a bad taste in your mouth, you'll enjoy this more. But don't go into it with this real feeling of, I need depth, I need for provocation, feelings, everything. It's just a good fun time, I would say. It does run a little bit long. There's probably some scenes that could be cut down or reduced in duration, but on the grand scale, it went quick. It was a lot for your money, really, in a sense. You got a lot of adventure, so I was very surprised and pleasantly surprised, to be honest, because I got more out of it than I thought I was going to get. Like I say, it had the sci-fi, it had the adventure, a little bit of romance, humor. Not all the humor hits, but it was still fun and sort of like gave that, I don't know, enjoyable vibe. I keep going back to these words of fun and enjoyable. Do you know what I mean? There's films out there that you know it's not the best film in the world. You know you're not going to be blown away by it or anything like that, but you're going to enjoy the fact that you watch the film. It's a comfort sort of thing, and I think this film kind of does that well. The bad guy, I actually really liked him in a way, even though there's two basically, but the main one, so to speak, even though he's a bit one-dimensional. Did I say two-dimensional? I guess 2D, one-dimensional. Basically, there's not that much depth to the character other than I will destroy you sort of deal. He tried to give a little bit of backstory there, but it doesn't quite work, in my opinion, enough. You don't really get that much out of it. I thought he played his role well, though. And I could honestly really see him playing Arthas as the Lich King. I wouldn't necessarily 100% cast him for the role, but that was what was going through my head. If you've seen this film, let me know whether that was sometimes going through your head. He looks like he could play him, and he has this real sort of evil grimace about him. This darkish vibe where you could imagine him playing the role of Arthas and his kind of descent into becoming evil. I got that feeling from it all the time. I couldn't help. He had like the facial structure for it as well, and if they just give him the long enough hair, that's what I was thinking the whole time when I was watching that. The other bad guy, which was like a more of a minor bad guy, was this kind of almost thuggish style approach, which I didn't appreciate so much, but he was there to sort of like provide action scenes. But I thought that was very one-dimensional, like, I will kill you no matter what, and there is no other thought of, you know, the repercussions or the circumstances or why we're in this situation or why I'm doing what I'm doing. I will kill you. There was too much of that going on with that character. But it is what it is. I think if you want to see some impressive set pieces, although they are mostly CGI, but it's still impressive nonetheless. It was filmed underwater. There's a lot of action going on. It's pretty heavily choreographed, the fight scenes, but it was still really well done. The camera's all over the place in a good way, like it's throwing you all over, really giving you this vibe and feel. When you think about how this is done, especially a lot of those fight scenes underwater, it's actually quite good. I mean, obviously the CGI makes that happen, but it still was done where it was believable enough. It wasn't quite as bad as some CGI fight scenes can be, where they're flipping all over the place. I really liked it. I thought it was good. Not the best, but very good. IMDb currently has this at 7.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 68%. Metacritic, 53%. So it's a warm enough, inviting film to go have a good time with. That's pretty much my fundamental thoughts with the film. I feel like that's just where I keep going. Fun and enjoyable. Albeit a little bit long, but the main character, Jason Momoa, is cool. Does his job very well. I think he's a great cast as Aquaman, and I'm very glad for him to be in the role, and I hope it all works out for him. Those of you might know him from Stargate Atlantis, I believe. He was essentially the role that Teal'c would play to a degree for that. He wasn't actually Teal'c, but he was like that kind of role. And I thought he was a really fun character to watch in that series as well. So it's good to see him do this, and coming off other films that I've seen him in, like Conan. That film was pretty damn bad, but I don't think he was terrible in it. It's just what he got cast. And many of you will probably know him from Game of Thrones, which he was fantastic in. That real sort of like sense of barbaric, but brutality. But there was like reasoning behind how he had to be so brutal. I think he brings good qualities and elements to this film, and I think you will have a fun time watching it. So make of that what you will. I would love to hear what you guys thought of the film. And there you go. Little review for Aquaman. I can't think of anything too spoilerific, because I don't think I've really mentioned anything spoiler. But if you were to say, all right, this is the point where I'd say spoilers, there's not really any spoilers. Okay? That's one of the issues with the film to some degree, is there's not that much depth. Lol. When it comes to the story, it's pretty thin. Someone could tell you that basically the war is waged between all of the places, and they're trying to wage war on the humans because he paid off the guy to send a submarine to send a missile and attack them whilst they were having a meeting for peace or something like that. I mean, it was all staged. Even Dolph Lundgren, which I liked actually in this role, as the king, the other king, sort of like the other nation. You know, it had that. He knew it was BS. I mean, there wasn't really much going on there. I honestly can't think of really anything to spoil. His mum's still alive. That's about it. She's not really dead, as you're led to believe, but I don't think anyone really believed that. And Yeah, it's a little one-dimensional in a sense, but just enjoy the adventure, okay? Enjoy the adventure is what I would say. Don't think too much. Enjoy the adventure and the spectacle. Take care, guys. I'll see you later.